everyone, it is Lucy and today we're going to do a little bit of thrifting. We are in Sydney for the weekend, or I suppose we were in Sydney for the weekend. It's Sunday now, and when I've been to Sydney a few times, there's been a couple of spots for thrifting that I just thought have been really good. So hoping to check them out today. I checked on Google Maps, they all seem to be open. So I'm just going to do a little bit of browsing. I'm with Max, my boyfriend. We both enjoy a little spot of thrifting. So we're just going to have a look around and see if we can find anything cute. And if not, we will at least be eating some delicious pastries.
Off we go, Gromit.
Just finished breakfast and it was very delicious. What do you think of your meal?
Well, I mostly just ate yours, but it was really yummy.
Well, you had the banana bread, that was yum, with like salty butter. And I had the like toast. I will say my main meal was a little odd. I don't know if I just like screwed up the selection or something. It was yummy, but it was just like different kind of. But then we went and had like another coffee and some pastries upstairs and they were like amazing. Yeah, that was Paramount Coffee Project. But if you head inside and then go up the lift to AP Bakery or something, it's like a little bakery on the rooftop and it's really nice. And it's like a totally different menu as well. I thought it was just gonna be like a bakery with coffee, but they have like a whole breakfast menu. So yeah, I think that's the go.
Anyway, thrifting time now.
Hello, it's present day Lucy, or future Lucy for me in the video, but I suppose it'll be past Lucy if you're watching this now. I just wanted to hop back in here and offer some additional information about the thrift stores we went to, because I was just kind of like running around like really sweaty and wasn't really offering like a lot of information. So I'm just giving like a little bit of extra info about all the places we went to. But before we jump into all of the thrifting, I just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, which is Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is a jewelry brand who I have been partnering with for ages and wearing for ages. And you can tell that I really love them and genuinely wear them, because in all of the vlog clips and all of the insert clips and in these clips, I'm wearing Ana Luisa jewelry. And I did not plan that. I didn't know that I was gonna have this Ana Luisa sponsorship on this video, so there you go. And I'm gonna be packing all of my favorites to go with me on my trip to Japan and Korea, which as you're watching this, I think I'm in Korea. And actually on that trip, I am taking my mum to Japan for the first time, which is really exciting. But I'm actually not gonna be back from my trip in time for Mother's Day. So I actually got this little box of some Ana Luisa pieces that I'm going to take and surprise her with on the trip. For as long as I remember, I have known that my mum is an earrings lady, specifically a silver earrings lady, specifically a hoops or sleepers silver earrings lady, no studs. So I actually picked up a few different really classic silver hoop designs from Ana Luisa's silver jewelry range, which I think she's really gonna love. I have these more minimal ones, I have some slightly chunkier kind of ones, and I also have the little kind of twisty croissant ones, which I also have. Ana Luisa's pieces are really gorgeous, high quality and non-irritating. I literally slept in these last night. They're also carbon neutral and have speedy worldwide shipping. Pieces start from $39 and I really do think they have a really nice range to suit a bunch of different individual styles and preferences, which makes it a great place to pick up a gift for someone special like my mum, or perhaps even yourself. I won't tell anyone. So click the link in the description box below to shop Ana Luisa's range, or you can also use my code LucyL20 to save 20% off your order. Thank you again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring this video and supporting a little rat woman's channel. And with that, let's jump into thrifting in Sydney. So the first thrift store we went to was Storeroom Vintage, which I don't think I'd been to before, but they had such a big selection of kind of vintage graphic t-shirts. And Surry Hills has a mix of kind of like more curated consignment, secondhand vintage places, and then your kind of like thrift shop, op shop, like jumble places. Like there's kind of a bit of both. And this I would say is definitely more curated and probably one of the most like clearly curated places we went to, in that it was very like hype beasty. So there was quite a lot of good stuff there. And I will also say the staff were like super friendly. I was like chatting with the guy who was working there. He was really nice. And as I'm sure you can see, so many t-shirts. I didn't really find anything that like grabbed me for like the price point. Again, with a lot of more curated places, I feel like the price points are a little bit higher, which I actually don't really mind. Not all of them, but like some of them, I'd be like, oh, this is really cute. And it's like $30, $40, $50. And then there'd be like a big stain on it. And I'd be like, well, like, but they had some really cute vintage bags as well. And cute kind of like Y2K swim tops, which I thought were really cool. Also big points for having this like massive Sailor Moon, like blanket towel tapestry thing hanging. They also had this Kermit on the wall, which I was like, big mood. Definitely a big selection, mostly like, yeah, really casual streetwear kind of stuff, but didn't find anything there that like really grabbed me. Okay, this one is my favorite. Oh, sale. Then just across the road is probably, oh, maybe big call, my favorite secondhand store in Surry Hills. But I guess pretty much every time I've been in there, I've found stuff I've really liked or just gotten really lucky with a good deal. And I would say this definitely goes more into the category of like secondhand, curated, consignment-y kind of territory. But I just feel like the selection is really good. And I've just found so many like gems. And even if the pricing is like not necessarily like inexpensive, I definitely think the pricing for the item is fair. Like whether it's a more department store or designer brand or it's fast fashion, I just think the selection of items they have is really good. Like there's always a really good mix there. Like, I don't know, I just feel like there might be just like a circle of like wealthy, yummy mummies in Surry Hills who drop off all their clothes here. Like they had these super cute Sophia Webster sneakers. They were so cute with like the little butterflies in the back, but they weren't my size. Tragic, oh well. But I actually found two pieces in U-turn that I wanted to try on. I found this like vintage skirt. It felt like cotton to me, but I wasn't 100% sure, but it was really cute. And I tried it on and it was cute, but it wasn't like blowing me away. It was just like cute, you know. I also tried on this skirt from Alana Hill. And when I saw it, I was like, that's really cute and like pretty. And I love the beading and it's like so different and kind of like ethereal fairy core kind of vibes. And I was really excited, but I was like, it's probably gonna be like really hot and sticky and like 100% polyester. It was 100% silk. So I had to try it on.
Success. I'm not like 100% sold on how I was styling it with like what I'm wearing today, but like I have a vision. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but it's a really cute piece. It's like, I don't know exactly when it's from, like I don't know how vintagey it is, but it's definitely not a piece that's happened in a while because it's an Australian brand that I'm familiar with and they definitely don't do like silk stuff anymore that I'm aware of. So it's definitely an older piece. And actually, I didn't even mention this, but that store that I just went to is the same place where I got the jeans that I'm literally wearing today. And I wear them all the time. I've got so much wear out of them. I just feel like U-turn has such a good curation or selection of stuff. Like it's all just like really nice quality or really unique pieces. And I feel like the price points are fair. It's definitely more like secondhand consignment prices rather than like thrift shop prices, which a few places in this area are. And I don't know, like every time I've been in there, I've found something that I really liked, which isn't necessarily the case with a bunch of thrift shops. I don't mind paying a little bit more if it's like, you know, really good. Now we're gonna go to a really good vintage place called Zoo Emporium, I think. I've been in here a few times as well, and every time it's just like so good.
So then we headed over to Zoo Emporium, which is such a fun store to visit, even just for like inspiration and eye candy. They have such an amazing range of like true vintage pieces. It's such a beautiful store. There's so many colors and they have just like such a big variety again of like real genuine vintage. Having such a curation, a lot of their pieces are a little bit on the pricier side, but I think considering like they're in really great condition and they often have like, you know, the full matching set of a piece from like the 60s, I think they're like totally within their rights to price it at that point. I don't think I've ever gotten anything from Zoo Emporium. The stock does seem to turn over. Like every time I go in, they definitely have different stuff. A lot of the time when I do find stuff like that in thrift shops, it's usually something that I'm like, I like most of it, but I'd probably want to alter it. But when it's like a pristine 60s set and it's like, I like it, but I would probably not love it as is, then I'm like, okay, for like $120, I should just leave it and let someone who loves it like just as it is have it. But also like, I feel like I talk about material content on here like all the time, but as my personal style has progressed, it's just something that I've like noticed is just like kind of a fact for me, or at least it's a fact for me for now. But I really value a natural fiber. And if I'm getting my historical facts right, please like let me know. But I feel like when garment manufacturing and like, you know, the rise of fast fashion, a lot of pieces from like the 60s beyond, and they're really cute, like vintage patterns and stuff, they're all like really polyestery because it was like innovation. Like obviously not all of them, but just yeah, sometimes you'll see like a really cute piece and you're like, oh my gosh, like this cute piece, and the label will be like 60s and you like feel it and you're like, that's gonna be Sweat City. Anyway, for eye candy, Zoo Emporium is like the best. And if you're looking for anything period specific or just generally some like extra type of accessories or like kind of something for like a bit of a dress up occasion, it is such a good spot for that. Then we headed over to C's Flashback, which always just has such a fun vibe. C's Flashback to me gives me chaos, it gives me memes. There was a mannequin lying on the floor. Like you will find a novelty embroidered M&M denim shirt, where importantly she is wearing her heeled boots, so perhaps should have gotten it for like a historical archive moment. I would say compared to some of the other ones I've talked about already, they have a little bit more of like a random selection. Like they have some really cool like Disney World t-shirts from like 2002. And in terms of the individual quality and condition of each of the pieces, it really varies. but I do feel like the price point at C's is usually pretty good. And those are the main thrift shops that I'm like aware of or have been to a few times, or I feel like are distinct in their like secondhand vintage sort of selection. Because then we basically hit up the classic combo of Australian thrift shops / op shops. They have this one in Sydney called Knopf's. I don't know if we have them in Brisbane. I'm just like not as familiar with them. I feel like I've only seen them in Sydney, but maybe we do have them in Brisbane. Anyway, there's one called Knopf's where Max found the same t-shirt that he already owns, but in a bigger size for $5, so he got that. But you know, just your typical kind of random assortment of op shop things. We checked out some other ones as well. I think we went to a Red Cross and a Vinnie's. I don't know, there's just like quite a few on the strip on Oxford Street, I think it's called. There's this also new vintage place that I hadn't seen of or heard of before. I think it was kind of new because it only had like one review on Google Maps and like no photos. But it was like packed full of stuff. Like it was actually a little bit overwhelming. At this point, we've been out and about like walking around for quite a while. Obviously through the editing of movie magic, it seems like it was very quick, but we've been like kind of browsing and having a look for a while in the heat. So we went in there and we were like, oh, so much stuff. But it had lots of like vintage denim and like jackets and stuff. It was very cool. So I need to go back there and like check it out more like in detail with like fresh eyes at a later date. I think it was at the Vinnie's where I came across a pair of silver mules, which very much happened to be my size and very much happened to be $20 and very much seemed to be in like literally good condition. And that was all the thrift shops, but we actually just so happened to be in the area of this Australian boutique that sell a lot of like international, like smaller designers.
Okay, those are all the main thrift stores we wanted to check out, but there happens to be a little cheeky warehouse sale on today. I just saw on TikTok for this boutique that has a lot of really cute pieces. I don't normally shop there. It's a little expensive, but I've seen some of the deals and they look really good. So I'm just gonna pop in and see.
And they were doing like 50% off a lot of stuff. So I went to go check it out, but it was the last day of the sale. So a lot of stuff in my size and obviously like a lot of selection was obviously sold already. But yeah, didn't really luck into anything there. But then we went and got a sandwich and it was an $11 sandwich and it was such delicious sandwich, good value. It was like caramelized carrots with like chicken schnitzel. It was amazing.
Truly an iconic sandwich.
And I want to replicate it at home because it was so good. But it was while I was eating the sandwich that my Discord notifications went off and I found out that I was briefly featured in a Sophia Nygaard video. Yeah, she did a personal color analysis video and for like 0.5 seconds, about 5.5 minutes in, you can see me there getting my personal color analysis done from my video that I did on it. So that's fun, funky and cool. That was a fun little treat. The thrifting portion of the video is over, but I did just find out that I got featured in a Sophia Nygaard video. So that's it's technically for like 2 seconds, but yeah. Crazy day. Thank you for everyone who messaged me about it. That was really sweet of all of you. Yeah, I'm aware that was pretty wild. I know it was only for like a split second, but it was really cool. So but yeah, that was my little thrifting and mini adventure in Sydney. And would you like to see what I ended up getting? I feel like I kind of told you in the video. I'm sort of patchworking this together. Yeah. I did end up getting this pair of shoes from Sol Sana, or that's the brand. Anyway, they actually are in really good nick and they only just have like a bit of like the glue kind of around the sole here oxidizing. But like I assume they've been cleaned, but they barely look like worn at all. They're in like really, really good condition. Even like the heels, it looks perfect to me. And I don't know if Sol Sana is like popular overseas, but it's this Australian shoe brand. And out of interest, because we all know how it feels to get a really good deal. I knew like getting these, I was like, this is a pretty good deal, but I couldn't see on the label or like the sole or anything anywhere what material they were made from. So I did some Googling to find out like this model and style of shoes. And I found them, the exact ones. These are the Ginny Mule, I think, from Sol Sana. And I think they retailed for like $180. And the sole is man-made, but the straps are actually leather, which is amazing because leather I find for my feeties, at least, so if you're into foot content, here it is, the 30 seconds of me talking about my feet. With sandals, and if you are a person who likes to traverse and walk around as I do, a lot of times when you're looking at like buying these sort of like fashionable like colored mules or strappy sandals, they tend to be made of like PU or plastic. So having the actual straps be made of leather means that they're a lot softer, they're a lot more buttery, and they kind of conform and hug your feet a bit nicer. And I just find your feet are like less prone to blisters and irritation, especially again if you like to walk, which I do. So I'm like totally jazzed about these because like hello. And then I was tossing it up in the store, but I did end up getting this skirt. I don't know if I would go so far as to say it's a vintage. Like, it obviously has like a vintage look, but I don't actually know if this skirt itself, like its production, is vintage, because Alana Hill is this Australian brand, and I would say the brand's whole aesthetic is kind of vintagey, because it's not like it's really a new brand either. Like, it's been around for quite a while. The tag does say that it's made in Australia, so that leads me to believe that it's quite an old piece from them, because as we all know, trends and things like that are cyclical. So even though this is like a vintage style, I feel like this kind of patchwork, sequined, embroidered kind of piece is like exactly what is in style now, with like kind of fairy core, with like the asymmetrical kind of hem and everything. And I have to say, I'm not like 100% sold on this skirt, and it's really, really rare for me to buy something from like a thrift store or a vintage store if I'm not like totally in love with it, especially if I've been able to try it on, because it wasn't like inexpensive either. I think it was like $55 or something like that. But again, knowing it is 100% silk and it's like made in Australia, I knew it was definitely like an older piece. They don't really make them like this anymore. But when I tried it on with what I was wearing on the day, I was like, I wouldn't style it like this, so it was like hard for me to like see if I would like it, because I would style it in a very different way. That, and the colors are quite dusty and there's like a bit of a peachiness to it, which, as we all know, and the reason why I was briefly featured in that Sophia Nygaard video, I got my personal color done, and I think technically these are like not really the ones I'm meant to wear, but like, or at least like some of them aren't. It's just very like gray and muted. But in saying that, it's a lot of colors that I really like, and so I don't really care too much. And also, if we're gonna get into it, it's a skirt, so like it's not going like up next to my face, it's like, you know, down there. But I don't know, there's just something about it where I was like, oh gosh, it's like really pretty and really unique. Like, all of the beading looks really gorgeous, and it's little pops of like magenta-y pink with the sequins like contrasting. I just thought it was like a really gorgeous piece. Like, I have a vision for it, and I think I'm gonna try out my vision over on the TikTok clock app. But yeah, I'll insert a little clip of me wearing it so you can see sort of what it looks like a little bit better. I know I filmed like a clip in the changing room, but I felt like it was not a slay clip. I want to play around with the styling of it, and then potentially look into getting it altered, because I feel like it just sits like a little bit kind of in the middle of where I want it to sit. Like, I either want it to be high-waisted or more of like a firm mid-waist. But yeah, I want to have a play with it before I like obviously make any decisions, because it is just like really cool and unique and gorgeous. But let me know what you think, because I feel like it's giving like Angelina Ballerina, Barbie Swan Lake, like Anyway, that was my little Sydney thrifting adventure. I just want to do like a cute little vlog slash chatty kind of vibe. I definitely plan on doing more of these, and I very soon am going to be going traveling, and I have so much travel content planned, so do stick around for that and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!